Hello, fans of the channel, new and old. I'm doing this video as a response to Bering's left versus right where to Berkeley. It's not even about a response to Bering, it's to Billy Bong. And all honestly, I've watched the video to its entirety, and I couldn't help but feel a little bit weird from all the comments and arguments made by Billy Bong, and to where can I start where the problem is. First of all, we have to take into consideration the point of what happened at Berkeley. We had people militating for free speech who were not only right wing, but were of many other political views as well, who are there to militate well for free speech, because we all have that right. Well, in America mostly, but it doesn't matter. And here's the problem: they were unarmed. The police took away whatever they had, and where the police was there to protect them. Until the left, or Antifa, or whatever name they decide to have this month, decided that they should attack them because they're Nazis. Indeed, I can understand Billy Bong's point of view on the Nazi salute and why they should stop doing it. It's bad for your image and is very bad for what you're trying to represent. And the fact that you're trying to trigger them, let's be honest now, it's gonna make them come across as like they're right and you're not. Funny term, right? Honestly. Now, second of all, we have to understand what happened there and Billy Bong picking on Basic Stickman's video and stuff like that. It's wrong, and I'm gonna tell you why it's wrong. Because the right has endured, or people that militated for Trump free speech, the right, alt-right, whatever, they endured a lot of hatred, bigotry, butchery, even from Antifa or the left side of the political spectrum. There are women that were pepper sprayed. There are women that were attacked. Lauren Southern was almost hit by a brick, but it bounced off her helmet. And how can you resist to that? Yes, America will be in a civil war, and it's very clearly that at some point it will get to that, depending on the state where the next rally happens and stuff like that. But we cannot consider just that they're both to blame and the all right and the right is stupid as well, like Antifa for doing what they're doing. We have to take into consideration the fact that that was self-defense. And yes, Billy Bong, I know he put a video of Basis Stigma talking first, but honestly, the right was always attacked. Everyone that participate into a speech, into something like that, was attacked first. They were the one that got hit. And basically what that video was in itself is not a call to war. Well, it is kind of a call to battle, but it's not made so that let's fight some other group because we have nothing better to do. We don't have children or work. There's no one that can say that the people that participated there don't have children, don't have a place to work. Who knows, maybe they are respectable persons and they care for their freedom of speech and the freedom of speech of their children. But they're not that. Honestly, what Basis Stigman's video was him calling out people to defend their right to freedom of speech. And that's what's important. I think that's what they lacked, and that's what I think Billy Bong's video even lacked. The idea that they are not a bad people. Trust me. I live in a state where we're mostly conservatives, and we can't really say Republicans, but we're conservatives in many points of view. We have to endure a lot of stuff, and fighting for our freedom and what is our right is something we do when we're very constrained, when basically the leash is on our neck and starting to suffocate us. We know that because we had our revolutions, we had our fights, we had our misery, and of course history. The country I live in isn't really the brightest to look at even nowadays, not even history-wise. But here's the thing: you have to defend your right, and if it comes to this, we should go ahead. Then they should go ahead and fight for their right. Consider it the following way: we all know how World War II happened. It was Germany that decided to attack Poland, France, mush itself all over the world, and that's the problem. This is what Antifa is doing. They're attacking and calling Nazis everybody that doesn't share their political or their views. It doesn't even matter now that if they're old, young, members of the LGBT or black people or brown, Asian, whatever. If they don't share their views, they're directly called fascists or Nazis. Without Antifa knowing what a fascist, whatever, really is, or what a Nazi really is. As someone that's passionate about history, it's kind of awful to hear them call them Nazis. But in the point where they're fighting for the freedom of speech, we're having a problem that, honestly, Antifa is the Nazi part. They are the ones trying to subjugate free speech, trying to subjugate people. Now, I can understand Billy Bong's view and the center side he's taking. It's the most neutral part. Is the most neutral side you can take. It's the part where whatever happens, you just accept it, no matter if it's the right fighting the left or the left fighting the right. But it still is a problem. What happened at Berkeley is what's gonna happen from now on. Let's not forget that Antifa were the ones that sabotaged Milo's speech. Needless to say, they did a very poor job because they took Milo from talking in front of a bunch of students to talking nationwide. So yes, I consider Billy Bong's argument to be wrong, because what the people at the free speech rally were doing was defending themselves. And at this position, they have to. It's a call to war, or battle, more than likely, that will happen. It's inevitable. We have to understand that what they did might be weird, might be bad, that it left to this. But when the police was supposed to be there to help them, to protect them, nonetheless, and they did a very piss poor job about it, then it comes to fights like this. And it will come to more fights like this. Because the police has its own agenda with the whatever mayor and stuff from, or anyway, the thing with Berkeley is kind of confusing, with the mayor being on the Antifa side. So yes, this is what will happen. It might lead to bloodshed, and that's inevitable. This will happen. What's important to know, though, is that the people that were there for the free speech, for the part, like, they wanted to defend the free speech of people, they wanted to defend it and not be subjugated by the Antifa or left. They were there and they were trying to do their job. Even, in fact, in the Bering video, we have two people trying to defend free speech, and yet people still think that's a mockery, that's something stupid that nobody cares about. Here I tend to contradict this idea. People should care, because there are people fighting for the freedom of speech, for the freedom of their workmates, of their children, of whoever they care for. That is what the people at that rally were doing. The fighting was indeed stupid. A battle of ideas would have been better. But when the battle of ideas is tossed aside by one of the sides, and that side decides that it's a better idea to start fighting, and their members basically being like, I'm gonna bring back 100 Nazi scalps and stuff like that. That was a problem where there's not really like that. Going back to the analogy with the Second War, the World War II thing, what would have been better? To just let Germany invade and do its job and not really care about it, or just try and fight back. Maybe the world would have looked different. Maybe the man in the high castle would have been reality if Germany won. We can never know, can we? But this is what they are doing. They're fighting for their rights, and they're fighting to stop something that's gonna be the vast. Can't even speak right now. It's too late. That can be destroying what people care for. The time for a battle of ideas is gone when they decided to fight. And what's happening now is a result of their decision. Hopefully, this thing can be resolved quickly and there will be no lives lost. Hopefully, and I really desire that to happen. I really desire that no bloodshed to be spilled. But it's inevitable that it will happen at some point. And we have to live with it.